Welcome everyone. Today we have an update video of the new roadmap and also how that is going to affect the market. So in this video, we have a bit of notes of what is happening with the roadmap and how does this affect the market and why the price is rising and what's going to happen. So we also have some updated notes over here about different items to look for during the roadmap and also what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks. We'll also be having a look at the current market trend and how can you make more gold during this market trend, because players will be actively buying and also players will be stocking up items for the new characters and also for the new roadmap and also update. So this video is a special video prepared for the roadmap and also help us to predict the market for the upcoming weeks during the April update and also for the May update. Now, if you guys haven't seen the roadmap, make sure you come over here to the links for the roadmap. We also have a video covering this one. So we did have a summary for this one. So this video is focused on how is the roadmap going to affect the market. We'll be focused on the April roadmap because the May roadmap is a little far away. As for the April roadmap, what we can expect is this is likely going to come in about 1 to 3 weeks time. Currently, it is not confirmed the date of this roadmap. And this is likely going to be updated on the middle of April around a Thursday. And this will provide us with more tier 3 materials, a new class, and also quality of life for the secret maps. So basically, one big thing we should be aware of is if we come over here to the particular pricing of items, and what you can notice that the tier 3 pouches went up from 20 gold to 30 gold because of the news of the roadmap. And similarly, other items like Solar Blasting did jump from 80 gold to about 120 gold and then went back down again. So there's a lot of items and a lot of interesting trend because of the roadmap. And over here, what I want to first do is I want to briefly talk about how and why the price rises and how could you make more gold out of this. And then we'll go into some detailed notes about different items, including tier 1 and also tier 2 pouches and also lipstones. Because if we come over to the market, we can see items like the tier 2 lipstones have a slight rise of price. So it went from about 7 to 10 gold onto 9 gold because of the roadmap, because players will be preparing for items for the new class, which is very to be expected, right? And also we'll briefly talk about what's going to happen on the May roadmap and what we can predict in the future once 1415 comes out. We'll do this at the final part. Now, before we go into the predictions, as usual guys, make sure you understand those are my personal predictions following my server. So make sure you don't follow me blindly into investment and trading on the market. So how and also why did the price rise this week is because the market and also players are reacting quite strongly to the new roadmap, and there's more motivation to reach 1340 because the new zone of South Van is required for this item level. And as for players to go beyond 1400, there is now kind of the indication that you want to get to 1415. So we're going to see more players start to home for more materials and start to purchase more items because there's going to be a higher demand. And also players will be preparing for new class of characters. And this means players will be stocking up tier 1, tier 2 and also tier 3 materials, especially tier 2 pouches and also lipstones. I'm not saying to buy into those items, but this is one of the trends we can observe in the upcoming weeks. So if the patch for April comes about in 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to see a slight rise into those items. And if you're farming for those items, or if you're doing tier 2 maps, you may be making a little more gold if you hold on to this. So when the new class release, those items will go up in price. There's also a concern of the market overreacting. So what I mean by that is, if we come over here and we'll use the example of the tier 3 pouches, notice that with the news of the roadmap, the market went from 20 gold to 30 gold for the tier 3 pouches. It is now going back down to about 26 gold. And another example over here we can see is going to be the Solar Blasting. Solar Blasting went from about 80 to 90 gold to 120 gold, and now it's going back to 100 gold. There is a reason behind this, because currently we still have the ongoing of the Chaos Gate. So with the Chaos Gate ongoing, each time the hourly reset, there's a new Chaos Gate, each time there's increased supply, the price will go down. But after Tuesday, when there's no longer a Chaos Gate, we might see a rise in price because of the roadmap and also because players are now homing for more items. Now, as for my own personal prediction whether this will increase the price of items on the market, I do think this will have a slight inflation effect, so the price of items will slightly increase. So one of the good example over here we can see is going to be actually the Guardian Stones, and also this going to be the Destruction Stones. Notice that this hit all-time low to 15 gold in a few days ago. Now it's going back to 20 gold. It is likely going to stay around 20 gold as well. And as for the Guardian Stones, you can see this hit an all-time low to 6 gold. It is coming back to 8 and 9 gold. and those are the fundamental items for homing. So knowing those prices are going up, it is likely that other price of lipstones and prices of other items will stay up as well. But knowing that the bigger patch for 1415 will only come after May, it is likely this won't be a massive inflation, and we might even see the price drop slightly after the initial hype of the roadmap. And also with the new patch, we're going to have Source Vent with more free tier 3 materials. So currently we're not sure whether this will be a regular basis we can farm those items, or whether this is a one-time item loot. But regardless, those free materials is likely going to lower the market price after the weekly reset. So coming over to some of the summary notes and also things I want to highlight with you guys. The first two we mentioned about earlier, so tier 1 and also tier 2 pouches and also lipstones may be going up because players want to try the new class and they're going to have more need for those items. After that, you can see there's a trend of those retail materials and also tier 3 pouches going up as well. Now those items are likely going to go up for 5 to 20% after the Tuesday Chaos Gate closing off. So what I recommend is at the current moment, if you're planning to sell those items, make sure you sell those items after the Tuesday 5 AM Chaos Gate closing off. So what I mean by that is, notice that currently we're on the Monday time, and once it's Tuesday 5 AM, what's going to happen is there won't be any Chaos Gate, and this will be the best time if you're planning to sell your items. Now there's also a question whether you want to hold on to those items for later, but it's hard to predict because we don't know when the patch will come. Because when the patch comes, it's likely we're going to see more players homing. But if we wait for too long, after the weekly reset for Thursday, so after 11 AM, then it's not a good time because this will be the Chaos Gate again. So you don't want to miss the window. We'll be addressing this one more on the next video as well, about different trends and also different windows to look into. So we're going to see the temporary overreaction of the market. And this means that if you have those items or if you buy into those items during the Chaos Gate reset, you can be making a small profit by selling those items after Tuesday 5 AM. And it is likely going to be the case for tier 3 pouches. So we have seen a trend of those pouches going up in price. So if we come over here, we can see the tier 3 pouches, it went from 20 gold to 30 gold. I'm not saying those items will go as high as 30 gold, but maybe they will stay on 25 gold. So if you can buy pouches for a little lower, you have a margin to sell those for profit. Now what's quite interesting is we have the falling trend reverse into the rising trend. So the Guardian Stones, Destruction Stones, Future Materials and also Lipstones, it is very likely those items will see a small rise in price. I'm not saying you should be buying into those items, but maybe you can not rush to sell those items. So previously what I have been doing is, notice that over here I have some of the stones over here. I have been selling those items daily. But now seeing the price stabilizing and also the price going up, I'm actually holding onto the items I get, the tradable ones. I may be selling them a little later for higher price, because I know it's likely those prices will be going up, but not by much though. So I'm not buying into those items, I'm just delaying myself of those items. Now if you are looking to buy those items, it is recommended to buy after the daily reset and also especially the weekly reset. We're going to see a fall in price each of the weekly reset because players get a lot of shops reset, players get a lot of tradable items for those, and they're going to dump into the market to sell them for much cheaper. And of course, we know there will be the Source Vent content, and it's likely we're going to have more supply of those items. So currently, we're going to see a small rise in price for those items, but with a new update, we might see a mixed result. So depending on the demand of the players, if there isn't that much demand with increased supply, we might see the falling of those items again. Now, because the patch notes and also the roadmap didn't mention anything about new skins and also new cosmetics, so if you come over here, we can't say much for the skins and also mounts. They're reducing in price because there's a lot of varieties of those items, and also players are using the Mokoko mount, Mokoko pets, and also Mokoko skins. So as for skin and also mounts, I still don't recommend investing too much into them, but there's no major changes for the upcoming roadmap, which will indicate that the skins will fall down in price or going up in price. And finally, coming to the item of interest, which I think might have a rise in price. And as you guys might have noticed, as you make your alt account, one of the biggest blocking into getting your account to next tier is going to be the pouches. So it's going to be Honor Shard, it's going to be the Harmony Shard. So the tier 2 and also tier 3 pouches, especially tier 2 pouches, we might see a rise in price for those items. So if we come over to the market, so let's have a look over here. I'll have a look at the past price and we can try to predict the future price as well. So if we come over to tier 1, tier 2, so the tier 2 pouches, so notice that the pouch price was about 110 5 days ago. It's falling down to 74 gold, now it's 83 gold from yesterday. And notice that the current price for those pouch is 106 gold. the market is kind of overreacting because people are preparing for their new characters, which is the new class, right? So notice that the market is overreacting, but it is likely when the new character comes, this price will go even higher. So this might go beyond 110 gold or even 120 gold because there's going to be a demand for those items. Players want to progress from tier 2 to tier 3 very fast with this new character. Now the similar case is also happening for tier 3 pouches. We have seen the trend over here, and personally I think the tier 3 pouches still have a little gap to go. I think this might go from 20 gold to 25 gold personally, so I'm trying to buy them around 19 gold if I can. So the reason behind tier 3 pouches is not because of the new character. It's actually because players will be going for 1415, and as you go for that particular level, you're going to need a lot of the honor shard, and players will be surprised how much honor shard it costs to upgrade each of the weapons, and this actually takes a lot. Currently, it is still quite cheap for the gold to crystal price. So if we come over here to the shops, what we're going to see is, so currently because the price haven't inflated, once the price of item in the market goes up, the gold to crystal price will also go up. So currently it is about 330 gold for 95 crystals. Now if we come over to the market, so what I want to show you guys is this is actually a pretty low margin. So if we go to about 80 points of data, you can see that it has been falling, and currently it is at one of the lower point. So what's going to happen is as the price of other items increase, the cost of gold to crystal increase. It is likely going to increase to about 400, very likely. So if you guys are still trying to get more crystals, it is also okay to get crystals. Now, one of the reasons this price is so low is because players currently need a lot of gold for homing. So players are not buying that much crystals. And this is one of the major reasons. Because as you go into, after 1370, it actually costs a lot of gold to home each time, which is kind of annoying. So I'll be making more gold making guide for you guys very soon. And finally, if we come over to the upgrade materials for the Solar Grace, Solar Blessing, and also Solar Protection. So for those items, I'm currently personally investing a little bit into them. So what I'm going to show you guys is you can see a small trend of those items going up. And I'll show you guys my inventory of stocks over here. You can see I have invested into a few hundred of each of those items. I do think the price of those items will be going up, but don't buy them at a different timing. So what I recommend is buy them at a lower than market price. So I'm trying to buy the Solar Blessing under 92 gold. I'm trying to buy Solar Protection about 160 gold. I'm trying to buy Solar Grace at around 22 gold. Don't buy at the market price because you won't make a lot of profit. On the next video, I'll explain this in more details. So I do think the price of those items would increase slightly after the Tuesday Chaos Gate. But by how much and how much profit, I'll make another video to explain this more in details. So I do think there's profit to be made after the roadmap because players will be, investing into different honor shards, different pouches, different things. And this is when we can look into the market and make sure we look into the trend to make more gold. Now coming over to the final part of the video, we said we'll briefly talk about the May update. So once the May update comes out, the class Destroyer is going to be a class I really want to try. There's going to be a lot of future, a lot of content that drives players to push for 1415. And this one, when the patch comes out or before the patch comes out, this is going to drive the market inflation. The rich players or the well players, they will be homing for additional items, and the price of all items will be going up. But until then, it is a little too early to prepare for this at the moment, because you don't want to buy items that's going to be sitting in your account for a month of time. So what I recommend is look into some of the tips for the April roadmap, and after that, when we come close to the May roadmap and also the update, I'll be making a dedicated video similar to this one to help you guys predict the market trend and also what items to buy, what items to look into, and also what items to invest. Now hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Before we finish the video guys, make sure you understand, try to not follow me and also my predictions blindly. I have also made losses as I invest into those items, and sometimes the market doesn't follow this trend, so be careful of this as well. So you do want to monitor your market a little bit to see if this is also the case in your market and also in your region and also service. Now if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.